Hi guys, so I had a good question about global and local variables. We might also have a look at constants as well. Okay, so let's start with our program. So I have a program where there is a name, and the name is going to be Christopher. Okay, and then I can do whatever I like with that name. Now this is a local variable, and it's going to be helpful here if you think of this section of the program as my main program. Now, what if I were to use Christopher, but I want to use him, one of the above, in a function, or a procedure, sorry. So I'm going to define my procedure as hello, Mr. bracket, bracket. Now in here, I'm going to say name equals name plus, let's do Mr. Plus name. Okay, so I'm going to add the name to Mr. So I'm going to put Mr. Christopher. And then I'm going to print that out. Ask yourself then, is that going to work? Hopefully the answer is no. It does work, but I just forgot to call my function. It doesn't work, sorry, but because I didn't call my function, we can't see it not working. So let's try again. And so remember, I've made my function up here. I've got my code or my procedure. To use it, I have to call it. And to do that, I just type its name. Hello, Mr. Hello, Mr. So actually, my program starts here, not up here. Just remember that. It's an important thing with functions. Okay, good. So then I get this error that says unbound local error, cannot access local variable name. So what it's saying here is that because this is a local variable, and variables are local by default, then it can't use it in the function. That's okay. But maybe we want to be able to use it in our function. So the question I was asked about was a global variable. Now, generally speaking, in real life, there are things that you want to avoid. However, they do seem to use them a lot in the A level. And they're fine when you're just developing your program, but they're a bit of a security risk, especially when you've got all these APIs and connecting programs. You want your programs to be modular. You want to be able to cut out a function and use it somewhere else without needing the main program. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to make a global variable. And to do that, all I have to say is global. And you see it goes yellow, and then the name of the variable. So that's saying use name as a global variable. And now, when I run it, Mr. Christopher. Okay, so that's how you could use a global variable. Now, if I had another program here, let's say def by Mr. And I were to do almost the same code, pretty much. And I take that down to here. So I say hello, Mr. And I say goodbye, Mr. Okay, I still get this error. And so to make it in there, I'm going to have to do global name again. Okay, and that will Mr. Christopher, because I've added Mr. to Mr. twice. Okay, so this is how we use global variables in Python. But it's actually not how we would do it in other languages. Most other languages, you would declare global down here. Now, hopefully Python's going to not prove me wrong. So basically, you declare it as global when it's made, and that would allow it to be used through all our different functions. So let's see, does that work with Python? Global name. Sure. Okay, I get an error right away. Let's see. So I didn't like something. Let's try again. Invalid syntax. Okay, so again, what if I were to do global name after it instead of just making it and then say it's global? Is that going to help me? No. Okay, name is assigned for name is assigned to be global before declaration. Okay. So let's try to put it the other way around. As you can see, I don't use globals very often because, at least when I was at university and in programming, they were very much frowned upon. Okay, good. So basically, we can't do it the way that it would be done in most languages, which is when the variable is made, we would call it global. In Python only, we have to declare the global inside of each of the functions that we want to use it in. Now, again, that's not ideal, but it's the way it's done in a lot of the exams. So global variables are variables available to everybody, whereas local variables are only available in their subprogram. Now, what's the actual better way to deal with this? Well, the best way is to use parameters and return values instead of using globals. So I'll just give rid of this goodbye for now. Bye-bye, Mr. Bye. Okay, so how would I pass it as a parameter? Well, all I would do is put it in the brackets up here. So I could do name in the parameter, and then the name here is going to become equal to whatever I put in there. So name is going to become, name inside this function, inside this procedure, is going to become equal to the name outside. And that should work just as well. Okay, now we'll run it again. Hey. Okay, and if I wanted to get something out, rather than having it as global, I could return name, and then I could say name equals hello, Mr. Name. Okay, and so that is how we would deal with global variables and local variables. So ideally, where you can, use them as parameters. However, if for some reason the exam tells you to, or you can't think of another way around using parameters, then it is okay to pass them as global, but just be aware that they are frowned upon elsewhere in a lot of cases. Okay, the other thing about Python is constants. So if we had, say, I mean, the famous one is obviously pi, 3.14, it's not going to change. So this would be a constant. But if it were to change, it would be a variable, i.e. it can vary. Now, Python does not have, as far as I'm aware, constants. So we just use variables as constants and constants as variables. And to be honest, I think that's pretty much the case now. Roundabout, I can't think of whenever I've ever used a constant that isn't just a variable. When I've been programming. Okay, so hopefully that helps a little bit. If you get any more questions, please ask. Ciao, ciao.